is we can start off in a seated position. And what we'll do is we'll just gently kind of work from the neck, shoulders, down, really down to a, lying in the back, supine position. My recommendation is always first just starting off with a nice few breaths, right? I like this position for you just because I feel like you'll have more control over your pelvic rotation. If we had you down like a cross-legged position, easy pose, Sukhasana, then the tendency is for the hips to tuck under, right? Eventually they just do. It's hard unless you're super, super elevated up, which you can do as well, right? So just having several blocks underneath you. But here, right, you just got less rotation of the torso. So again, before you do anything else, just take a few nice deep breaths, right? Exhaling all the air to your lungs. Just allowing for that nice full inhalation to fill the body. Exhaling all the air to your lungs. Allow for the nice full inhalation to fill the body. And from here, we'll start first with the head and neck, and I like to do actively engage it first. So what we'll do is we go ear to the shoulder, exhale, roll chin to the chest, ear to the opposite shoulder, exhale, roll chin to the chest. Just do that a few times just to get the neck nice and loose. Mine's feeling a little clunky today. Exhale. And then from here, we'll just drop the chin down in front, interlace the fingers, just stretching out the back of the neck. And 3 to 5 nice deep breaths here. And then what we can do here is we can release that hand, right? Bring the chin, look underneath that shoulder. And then with that, my left arm, right, I'm just gonna kind of walk out and maybe even back a little bit, maybe forward a little bit. Just find that optimal stretch. With your neck, just be gentle, right? Really, really focus on the breath. Exhaling fully. It doesn't take much if you're breathing well and you're getting the ribs to expand, and it doesn't take much of a stretch to really get this to loosen up. If you're really cranking down hard on it, it's not going to loosen. It's probably going to even get tighter, right? So really find that little position. It's a little uncomfortable, but not at all painful. And then breathe. Getting the ribs to move, getting these guys to soften up. Again, exhale, then we'll release. If you want, you can take it down in front again. Then we're going to make our way over to the other side. Again, chin to the chest. Arm goes out. Three to 5 nice deep breaths. Exhale fully. And again, release. Come down in front, maybe one more time. Again, just find that breath. Exhale fully, and again, release. Now what we can do is we can come after these sternocleidomastoids a little bit. I forget which one works optimal for you, but I showed you two. I'm going to show you both of them, and we'll see. The first one we're going to do is we're going to we'll pin down. We'll start on pinning down this right clavicle. So you're just going to go right underneath the clavicle, right where here's your sternum, right here's your clavicle, right that runs over here, right basically where the clavicle and the sternum meet. You're going to go just to the side of that and down. You're just going to kind of pull down to that pec muscle, and you're just basically just kind of pinning it down to keep everything from pulling up when you go to stretch. And then from here, we're going to start off by turning, looking over the right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot the back of my right temple, let's just say, or right ear. I'm going to pivot my right temple back to the wall behind me. And again, what I'm feeling is as I'm pinning this down, I'm just feeling this stretch right here. Again, 3 to 5 nice deep breaths. And especially when you're working with your neck, the idea is that you keep the mouth closed, tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Exhale fully, and again we'll come out, we'll turn back, and now the other option here is you can, again, same thing, pinning the clavicle down, or pinning the muscle down actually. You're going to tilt the head to the right, and then here we're going to look up towards the ceiling. So again, same thing, just kind of going after this guy, a little bit different direction. And a lot of the deep cervical flexors. Same thing, mouth closed, hit the tongue into the mouth, exhale fully, and we'll inhale, unrotate, come back. Again, just be really gentle with your neck muscles, right? Again, it's really about the breath, move to a position a little uncomfortable, never painful, right? So same thing on the other side, we'll pin that sternum, clavicle, find that point, and then just kind of come off the sternum and down a little bit. Same thing, we'll first turn, look over that shoulder, tilt, tip the tongue, roof the mouth. And then just watch. The tendency sometimes, right, when we're doing anything is we'll start to extend the spine. Make sure this stays nice and neutral. The pelvic is nice and neutral. Exhale fully. Again, we'll untilt. We'll turn, right? And then again, same thing. We're going to, this time, tilt, and then look up towards the ceiling. Exhale fully. Then again, we're gonna turn back, untilt. So we're just getting out of it the opposite way we got in, right? We're just re-engineering or reversing those directions. So now we're just gonna come after the shoulders a little bit. Ideally, we wanna kind of get after your pec, but the problem is we can't go into retraction, right? Or at least as of right now, even if, what we have to get clear on is if it's passive, can we go into passive retraction or not? But so what we'll do is we'll just start off with a little simple tricep stretch, actually. So, all right, just come into that tricep stretch. Again, just watch the rib flare and the lumbar extension or lower back extension. We're just gonna tuck that tail a little bit. Think about the ribs just staying stacked right over the top of the hips. Focus on the breath. 3 to 5 nice deep breaths. Exhale fully, then again, from there, we'll just switch. From here, we're just gonna reverse it, so we'll take the back of the hand to the small of the back, and then we'll walk the hand on down as far as you can. So I'm kind of just walking along my shoulder, down my tricep, just as far as I comfortably can, and I'm just gently pulling the shoulder forward. So I'm stretching the external rotators. If that's too much, I forget when we did this, but you can always wind them, feed a band through here, right, and do the same thing. Right, then we'll do the same thing on that other side. So again, back of the hand, small of the back, walk it down, or use the band. 3 to 5 nice deep breaths. And then release, and then we'll come, right? Doesn't matter which one you start with, obviously. And then we're just gonna bring elbows to chest level, hands come out a little bit, right? It's either, you're bringing the hands out. 3 to 5 nice deep breaths. Release. Elbows at chest level, hands out. And again, for release. Then we can kind of go after the bicep a little bit and the flexors of the wrist. It's a little tough. You're better off doing this against the wall, or we can soften up these guys, and then you can flip it over and you can go after some of the extensions. Just be careful with your wrist with any of this stuff. All right, same thing on the side. Flexors. This is really more flexors than it is bicep. You just kind of play with even how those fingers are positioned. Again, extensors. Release. And then we'll take it on down. And we'll, let's just see here. So, even just spending some time just focusing on your breath here. So much of flexibility, stability, and maintaining good flexibility, stability comes from from pelvic alignment, pelvic rib alignment, and a lot of that comes from just nice deep breathing, right? That does so much for your body to, right? If the pelvis is off, the ribs are off, it starts moving into your shoulder. Your shoulder has to change the way it moves, right? Your hips, your legs have to change the way they move in order to compensate for that change in those kind of more primary centers. So you can just spend time, right, focusing on that breath. Exhale fully, deep diaphragmatic breaths. Allow for that nice full inhalation. And place your hands in your belly and just really try to observe the breath. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. And then from here, right, we'll hug that right knee in, we'll extend that left leg, and just make this active. So actively straightening out that leg, so we're opening up in that left hip flexor a little bit, at the same time opening up the glute, opening up the right hamstring, opening up in the right quad. 3 to 5 nice deep breaths here. And then from here we can release, we can bend this knee, we can take our strap from around that leg, focus on that breath. So you can straighten this leg, but you don't want to straighten it with a bunch of compensation. So I don't want to be straightening this leg and then have this knee back, right? Otherwise, just stay right here, right? Just kind of gently work into this. Exhaling fully. And then from here, right, what we can do is strap the right hand, left leg out. And we just got to be careful with any kind of rotation. So, let's just see, hopefully we can see that. And just make sure, obviously, that your spine's nice and neutral. Then we'll come up. Then from here, what we can also do is extend. And again, if you feel comfortable, you can take it over a little bit. Often I'll have this rotated all the way over, but for you, I don't think that's a wise idea. What we can do though is we can take it over just a little bit and you can get the outside, that TFL, the IT band. Just be careful again, especially with the hips. And then from here, we're gonna release. We'll bend that left knee. And we'll come into this recline or supine pigeon pose. So we'll reach through. Just find that optimal position for you. Again, 3 to 5 nice deep breaths. And then from here, we can stack the knees. We can get a little deeper into the hips, deeper into the glutes. You can work your way down the shins, and you're kind of doing two things. You're prying the shins open, and at the same time, you're pulling those knees in. So, again, focused on the breath. Release, come out of there, grab a hold of the knees, pull them in, and then again we'll switch, we'll extend that right leg, actively straightening the leg, pressing down, we'll pull that left knee in, 3 to 5 nice deep breaths, and then again we'll bend that right knee, right foot in the floor. Take our strap, extend it overhead. And then from here, we took that right arm out, left elbow to the floor. This leg counterbalances, just trying to open up to that inner thigh. Straighten that right leg, just being gentle here. We'll take the strap in the right hand, left arm goes out, and we'll just slowly bring it over to that without rotating in the hips. So we're not rotating in the spine, but we're just gently bringing that leg across the midline of the body to help open up the outside of that left leg. So you've got two things going on, right? You're bringing the leg over, then also you're gently bringing the leg up, and you're finding that balance in between. Again, you go too far, it's probably going to overstretch that SI joint as well. For you, I don't think that's a good thing. Exhale fully, and then again, we'll come back. We'll rebend right knee, left ankle over right. Again, reach through. Get this side. And then we'll put the knees together. Right, again, we'll grab the shins. Feel solid, you can come into happy baby too. And the big thing I would just think of is just keep long spine, right? The tendency sometimes is to kind of come into this pelvic tucking the tail under. But I would say more, think neutral spine, so we're trying to press the sternum down. You can put something underneath your head. So we're trying to press the tailbone down, excuse me, the sacrum, and keep the spine long, and just kind of opening up all the inner thigh. This is not necessary because you're already kind of hitting this with the band stretch. But if you feel solid with it, go for it. And then release, hug the knees in. And then I would again just finish off either knees in, you can lay down all the way, but sometimes that puts people into a pelvic tuck. So again, just because we're being super conscientious about your spine, you may want to either elevate your feet on a towel, or again, just come into this constructive rest pose, knees in the air, feet on the floor, hands on the belly. Just focus on those nice deep breaths. 5 to 10. Exhaling all the air out of your lungs. Allowing for a nice full inhalation into the body. So I hope this was helpful. And obviously, as always, reach out if you